Salut everyone! In this video, I will answer a simple question. Is it possible to run a Arch-based distro like CachyOS without ever opening a terminal? Yes, because I know some of you are pretty allergical to the terminal. You're like, hey, I don't want to deal with that. I want to do everything through GUI and with my little mouse. I don't want to feel like a coder or a hacker. And, well, you will be surprised by the result. Let's get into it. As always, let's start with a little bit of context. I know a lot of you guys are planning to switch from Windows to Linux. And what is really scary from a user standpoint is to have to deal with the terminal. This big thing with all those big lines and big commands. And guys, I feel you, okay? I personally love the terminal, but I have to agree, like, it has been a long process for me to really understand what it was all about. And for the new user out there who are still scared about using the terminal or just doesn't want to use it, it's just like, you don't want to have to do it. You just want to have to do everything like Windows in a GUI, which means like an application where you just have to, use your mouse and, click on some stuff, apply, and boom, everything is done in the background. I was thinking, like, is it possible for you guys to install like CachyOS, for example? And I launched myself the challenge to install CachyOS from the get-go, live on stream, install some game, install some application like OBS, and do more technical thing like switching kernel and switching driver without using the terminal ever. So let's start with the beginning. The first thing you're gonna have to encounter when you install like CachyOS on your machine is like you're gonna have to write a USB media or maybe a CD-ROM, I don't know, but nowadays it's more like a USB key and put the ISO on it. So the pre-installation is actually fairly easy. If you use Ventoy, you're gonna have a little GUI. You install Ventoy, even on Windows, it's gonna be a GUI. You plug your USB key inside your PC, format the USB key, copy and paste the ISO you downloaded from the CachyOS website, and boom, the ISO is gonna start. You don't have to use the terminal. So first phase, pre-installation, no problem. The second one is the installation itself. And the way the installation works, when you put your Ventoy key inside your PC and you boot on it, you just arrive on a desktop which is already configured. You don't have to type anything. You don't have to go in a TTY or open a terminal. You don't have to type any line of command. Here, everything is through GUI. You click on install, you follow the process, and you should be fine. The really important part about this one is that through Calamares, which is the name of the GUI of the installer of CachyOS, you can choose the app you want and the one you don't want. You can choose your desktop environment. You have a really like deep granularity without even launching the terminal. You can even choose your file system. And in this challenge, I didn't choose BetterFS as a file system, but I really encourage you to choose it, and I'm going to explain why later in the video, if you don't want to touch the terminal ever. So for the installation process, again, it's a victory. You don't need to open a terminal at all. So now let's talk about the big one. The big one being configuring and installing packages on CachyOS without ever touching the terminal. Can you actually do it? Because most of the time, when you're going to be using the terminal, it's going to be one, for updating your packages, and two, for installing new packages. That's all. And when I say packages, it's like application, right? So using a terminal, for me, it's something like I'm used to, but I understand like for some of you guys, you don't want to touch it. And again, like you have a lot of tools available on CachyOS to do that. So the first one I want to mention is the package installer delivered by the CachyOS team itself. I did try it during the small challenge I made there, and I have to say, like, it works pretty well. You can install like all the package, whether they are from Arch repo or CachyOS repo or even the AUR, no problem. The only issue I had was trying to install a package when there were a conflict within it. So I'm going to give you a straight example. I tried to change the kernel module related to my NVIDIA driver. And the way it works on CachyOS, you just have to switch one package to another one, but you can't have both packages at the same time on your machine. So the way it works, if you use a terminal, for example, with Paru, the package manager is going to notify that there is a conflict. And when you validate the installation of the new package, it's going to automatically uninstall the previous package. And like that, you don't have conflict. Everything is going to be working, no problem. What I noticed is that with the CachyOS package manager, I could not remove the previous package. So it will just like be stale and you couldn't install the new one. I did touch base with the CachyOS team and they're actually working on it right now. So maybe after the push of this video is going to be solved. But right now, if you install package through CachyOS package installer, make sure that when there is a conflict, is able like to switch them. I believe this is a little bug and they're going to be like fixing it. What I did though is that within the stream, because I'm streaming all my experiments, at least like most of them, live on Wednesday and Friday. If you want to come and say hi to us, you're more than welcome. What I did on stream is like I just use another package manager called Octopi, which is a GUI exactly like the one from CachyOS, but I believe it was more reliable at the time I used it because I didn't have any issue when there were conflict between packages. It was doing the right work behind the scene. Right now, I will just like tell you like use this one. If you have any other problem with any other like GUI package manager, right? So Octopi was doing well. I was able to install everything I want. And when you think about it, like you don't need anything else to manage your packages, right? You have this application which run out of the box with a GUI. You can search your package. You just have to click them, press enter, check the dependency you need related to these packages, install them, and you are good to go. You don't need to open a terminal. So as I was mentioning again, like the other part, which I believe you're going to encounter issue without running a terminal ever, will be like updating your packages. The CachyOS team deliver like a little shortcut through the CachyHello application where you just open it and click on, update, and it's going to open a prompt and doing for you. So you, on paper, doesn't need to open the terminal. I would say like it's quite annoying. But there is application out there like the Arch update application from Antis, which are like letting you know when you have an update and if you want to apply them. So I won't be covering this specific application. Let me know in the comment below if you want to learn more about this. But there is a lot of application out there where you can just bypass the terminal to update. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty easy to have a little like icon C-stray application. We'll check from time to time if there is an update and let you do it without opening the terminal. This is also no problem. And then I was thinking like what type of like situation you will be in where you actually like need the terminal, where the terminal is an actual requirement. And to this question, there is not a lot. There is not a lot. And I will believe that any of the other distro out there, whether you are using a Debian or an immutable distro like Bazzite, you're going to be in a position where you might have to use the terminal, like, even if it's a rolling edge, even if it's immutable, even if it's a stable ISO, you're going to be in this situation where terminal is a requirement. So, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that BetterFS could be a better alternative for file system when installing CachyOS because BetterFS has a system called Snapper, which will take a new snapshot of your files when you do a major update or when you do actually an update. And so if your Linux break, well, you can still boot on the previous snapshot and avoid the breakage. And if you do that, well, guess what? You won't need to open the terminal, right? Even if your distro is broken, you just boot on the previous snapshot, and most of the time it will work. So there is specific case where it won't solve the issue, and you're gonna have to arch root within your Linux operating system to solve everything. But I'm thinking, like, we are not really far away of the type of issue you would have on Windows. Because on Windows, there is also a situation where your operating system can become unbootable. And your only way out is to reinstall Windows. You all have been there. So at least on Linux, what you could do, you could just open a terminal and fix it yourself and reboot, where it's not an option on Windows. On Windows, you have to back up, erase everything, and start fresh. So yes, to the question, like, can you use CachyOS without a terminal? I would say it's possible. It is possible. I was actually surprised because I'm just using the terminal most of the time, and it's kind of like an habit for me. But you could use CachyOS without any terminal at all. And to me, it's pretty good surprise, and I wanted to share that with you guys because some of you might be scared, be like, oh, it's Linux is for hackers. They are typing on their little terminal all the time, and I don't feel like doing it. Well, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. So if you want the full video of the live stream where I do everything from scratch without using the GUI, I'm going to put the link in the description below. It's like a 4 hours or 3 hours video where I do everything without opening the terminal once. And you will see I play games, I have fun, and I don't have to open the terminal, which is just crazy. And that's all for today. So guys, if you had any type of fun, or if you learned something from this video, please don't forget to give a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel. We just reached 15,000 subscribers on the channel. I'm really thankful, guys. You are the best. And also, if you want to support the channel financially, you can become a member of La Crème de la Crème Club on YouTube or on Patreon. And thanks for all the guys who have been like financially helping me. You guys are the best. And that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Bisous, bisous.